Season's greetings, everybody. I got this idea for a Christmas gift for my son. I've had this tried and tested and true and well-loved and well-used tool tote that my brother made for me like over 20 years ago. So I've decided that I think my son would like one of these for Christmas.
So the first step of the project is to break down the sheet material into the proper sizes for the ends and the sides, all 4 pieces all together. Also the bottom and the center handle. So what I like to do is do a lot of my measurements right on the table, just making sure that I have a good idea of the dimensions that I want from the plans that I have made. Here I'm cutting out the piece for the center handle, trimming it to a final length, final width, and then trimming all the sides of the boxes to the appropriate lengths. Like I say, I like making my marks and doing the adjustments right on the table. And then cutting all 4 sides, or the 2 sides, the 2 ends to length. This is creating the box joints that will join the ends and the sides of the box together using an Incra box joint jig. This is really a simple process once you get it set up. A little bit finicky to set up, but once you got it all set up appropriately and properly, it works very, very well. Gives you very precise joints, strong joints, and joints that look good and will last a long time. Here I'm just setting the height for the rabbets, which will support the bottom and also the center handle. Again, making the final adjustments on the table saw and making the cut. So this one is the cut for the bottom, which will house the center handle once the box is all put together. And also in the ends of the box, we need a rabbet for the handle section to sit in. That's what we're doing there. So here I'm using the same depth, and we're cutting the rabbets in the end panels and the side panels that will hold the bottom in place. Both sides and both ends now have rabbets that will house the bottom. And now we're into gluing up the carcass or the box joints, the sides and the ends, the longer sides and the shorter ends.
Did I ever mention I hate gluing? Caramba. This is the way we glue our box, glue our box, glue our box. This is the way we make a mess so early in the morning.
Yeah. Okay, we're assembling the 2 sides and the ends together now. Putting them in place, they fit nice and snug together, and a really tight glue.
So I had to abandon the idea of using the Veritas 4-way speed frame clamp. Go with some conventional bar clamps. because the little end frames wouldn't allow the nubbins to engage.
I'm just laying out for the center handle, just using various pieces of tape and round objects to draw some lines that are aesthetically pleasing. So I just use a hole saw to drill out the ends of what will become the opening for the handle. Cut most of the way through, then turn it over, cut the other side, makes cleaner cuts. I've never been intrigued at using a scroll saw before, but I picked one up on a whim. It was a used one. And man, I can tell you, I've actually got a lot of use out of that little scroll saw, and it's actually kind of fun. I could see myself retiring and making a whole bunch of different scroll saw jigsaw puzzles. Back to the bandsaw, just finishing up the shaping of the handle. I know, bad Dan. Look at how high my guard is set. Fortunately, the blade was tight enough and there really wasn't a whole lot of refraction in the blade. A little bit, as you can see there, but not a lot. Still, bad Dan for having your guides raised so high. Under the drum sander to sand those inside curves a little bit, get them all cleaned up. And then onto the disc sander to help finish the shaping of that center handle section. Now those edges are pretty rough, so we're going to round them all over. Just using a very small 1/4 inch round over bit. I only rounded over the top section and also the handle section, because don't forget the bottom and the sides are going into the rabbited grooves in the box that we created earlier. Next up, once the carcass was dry, the sides and the ends were dry, we glued the bottom in place. Copious amounts of glue, making sure that it's all spread out nice and evenly using a tinning brush. And putting the bottom in place. Nice fit, Dan. Good job. The last of the gluing operations. Gluing in the center handle. And you'll see the final shape of the tool tote. And with any project, there's sanding. A lot of sanding. So I used a pre-coated plywood on this box because I had an idea. I wanted to sand most of the coating off and create this rustic kind of look. Worked very well. Here I'm just adding all of the rollovers or rounding all the edges to make it a little more aesthetically pleasing. And where those rabbits ended on the boxes, I had to fill in a little bit, so glued in a section of plywood, trimmed it up.
For the tool totes, I think I will be using a gel stain. So basically it's just you take a cloth, you damp it down, you wipe it on, and you wipe it off really quick. I really want this to be quite transparent. So yeah, it'll be a very quick wipe on, wipe off process. And then I'll think about putting some polyurethane over top of it, depending upon how much of a shine I want on it. Okay, so for the application of the gel stain, the hardest part is actually working it into the corners. So that's what I do, is on the inside corners, I work it right into the corner first, both edges. And then because I don't want much of a stain residue, or I don't want this to be really heavily stained, just a light tint, I wipe it off right away, very quickly. All right. So you can see, it just leaves enough color in there. Just a little bit of color, and it's very transparent. So I wanted this box to have a rustic, old world, well-used charm to it. And this gel stain has done just exactly what I wanted it to. It's worked out very, very well. So it's just a quick wipe on and a very quick wipe off. Voila, old world tool tote. I like it. The last thing that we're going to do for the tool tote is actually put a coat of this product is Min Wax, and it's just a wax finish just to give it a little bit of protection and a little bit of smoothness. And there we have it, another fine quality Therapy Woodworks product, the tool tote. Merry Christmas, my son Cameron. Oh yeah, I'd like to introduce you to my new shop buddy. This is Shamrock. Ken Shamrock, because he's a tough little miter. He's 8 weeks old. He's gonna be my new shop buddy.